Hello everybody, this is Lara from Pure Elliott Wave with your Monday to Friday update for Bitcoin, Ethereum and XRP. November is now over, so we're into a new month. Let's step back and have a look at the big picture. And I've been over a couple of these ideas. I'm going to put them together for you and just reiterate them and what they mean for my analysis for Bitcoin. On the monthly time frame, my shaded boxes are areas of consolidation. You've got resistance, you've got support, you've got essentially sideways movement, and then price breaks out of the box of the consolidation zone, and then it runs, in this case for 9 months, up to the next high, and then it enters another consolidation zone. The first consolidation here lasted 23 months. After price broke out, the high was achieved 9 months later. The next big consolidation lasted 43 months. After price broke out, the high was achieved 8 months later. The next consolidation, 39 months. After price broke out, now I'm going to take it to this high, not the all-time high, they're not that far off. 5 months later, we got the high. If you count these further months, then you'll get the all-time high, which was 12 months after price broke out of this long consolidation. Again, there's a big consolidation. It's been 38 months so far and counting. It looks like we've got a low down here and now price is starting to move up. I'll expect a breakout early next year, maybe February, March, maybe a little bit sooner. And then once we see a breakout, a close above to a new all-time high, and I expect to see price move up and away for at least 5 months, possibly more like 9 or 10 months. This is a fairly long consolidation, and so I'll expect the run to be a little bit longer. And the other thing that we have here to assist to tell us highs and lows is RSI is moving in this slightly downward sloping channel. RSI reaches peaks here with price reaching a peak. This is the peak in November 2013. That was a really important high. The next huge peak, December 2017, an extremely important high, big bear market lasting a year. The next peak, March 2021, and some bearish divergence. Haven't seen that before. No bearish divergence here or here. Too early back here, but now we see some strong bearish divergence and a bear market lasting over a year. And now we're starting to see upward movement. As price is starting to move higher, RSI has found support and it's moving up through neutral. It's got a positive slope. Expect RSI to get up here to deeply overbought. Now, just because it reaches overbought doesn't mean that's where it's going to end. If you'd expected that in August 2017, the close here was 4,921 in that month, and yet the high wasn't seen until a few months later, and the close here for price 13,850. So it more than tripled. So we've got to have a little bit of flexibility. It can peak a couple of times and we might see that again. So it's a bit of a rough guideline as to when the run following the consolidation may end. So we've got the consolidation, the run, the peak, use RSI, the trough, use RSI, the peak, use RSI, expect the run for several months after the consolidation. So let's look for a breakout and see what RSI is doing. We'll keep an eye on this model in coming months. It's a pretty good big picture model. The final thing I want to note before we go on is there is a series of high highs and higher lows on this chart. That is the basic definition of an upward trend. In order for that series to be broken, you really would need to see a low below March 2020. This low is 4,106.98. It can't be this one in November 2022. It has to be a lower low prior to the last higher high. So if we see a low below 4106.98, then that pattern is broken. One of my maxims that's got me out of trouble for quite a few times over the years is always assume the trend remains the same until proven otherwise. This trend is very obviously upward. We should assume that this upward trend continues until proven otherwise, with a new low below March 2020. Technicals for Bitcoin, it's broken above what was prior resistance at 41,100. It's done so with push from volume. Let's expect now support at 41,100. Next resistance above, I've taken from the weekly chart, 48,000. Very, very good to see volume pushing price higher. The last signals given from on-balance volume were a break above the yellow resistance line and then a back test of support, now moving up and away. No new range, so no new signal, so we'll wait for the next consolidation, we'll wait for the next range, we'll use the same technique and look for a signal. So this signal from on-balance volume came on 29th of November. So this was the date that the signal came, and I said that signal is bullish, look for an upward breakout, and that's exactly what we've got. So isn't that beautiful? I love it when on-balance volume works like that. It worked really well for us last week. ADX has a positive slope. It's telling us again there is an upward trend. These upward trends for Bitcoin usually reach very extreme very early on in a bullish run. These trends can get very, very extreme and have small interruptions. A sideways consolidation, actually with a bit of an upward bias, saw ADX come down from very extreme. It's now again having a positive slope, telling us there's an upward trend. RSI is again overbought, normal to see early on in a bullish run for Bitcoin. I've studied its past bullish runs really carefully. This is normal to see. I'll wait for RSI to get more deeply overbought and then to exhibit some bearish divergence like it did here before I expect we may be about to see a big consolidation or a pullback. So there's a ways to go before that could happen. If we see a pivot develop in price, then I'll start to compare RSI to these previous areas, but I prefer to compare it to areas that are closer together. If I'm comparing it to what happened back here in November, I'm probably going to be using the weekly time frame for that. That's more appropriate. Money flow also neutral still, so a long way to go before these guys get as extreme as they can get in an upward trend, and there's obviously an upward trend for Bitcoin. The Elliott Wave count for Ethereum, I am moving the invalidation point up today to the low of 2019.91, the end of minute wave 2 double combination, zigzag X, running contracting triangle over, and now the end of a third wave. For cryptocurrencies, the fifth waves to end third wave impulses can be the strongest portion. So look for the end of minute 3 and then minor 5 of minor 3 to end possibly with blow off tops, huge strong upward movement and some vertical movement. We're starting to get some vertical movement from Ethereum. We're starting to see a little increase in range here on the 2nd of December. And let's have a look and see what we've got for volume. Volume is starting to push price higher. There was an ascending triangle. I gave you an update Sunday. I said that price is broken out of this little triangle. I gave you a target 2356.44. Hasn't quite been met yet, so that target from the triangle is still in play. It's probably too conservative. Price is probably going to move higher than that. Volume is starting to push price higher again for Ethereum. That's really good to see. The last signal given from on-balance volume on the 1st of December was bullish. On-balance volume moving higher. No new range, no new signal. We'll wait again for a range to develop. Draw support and resistance. Look for a signal. ADX is increasing. There's an upward trend very obviously. RSI is only just overbought, a long way from as extreme as it can get. Money flows neutral and no divergence. The Elliott Wave count for XRP, I was very specific last week. I said I wanted to see a new low below 0.5945 but not below 0.5746. We absolutely got that on this whipsaw day. We got a new high first. That's okay. Well, short-term high first. That's absolutely okay. I'm going to label my new wave 2 now an expanded flat A, B, C has moved beyond the end of A. Expanded flats are really common structures. I'll expect now upward movement from XRP for a third wave at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 large degrees. This is an extremely bullish wave count for XRP. Only when minor 3 has moved beyond the end of 1 will I pull the invalidation point up here. I'm going to leave it down here for now. It's still possible minor 2 could continue further. If it does, it may not move beyond the start of 1 below 0.4456, but I wouldn't expect it to get down that low. I'd expect it to find support at this trend line or this trend line. Technicals for XRP still failing to break above resistance at 62 cents. A little bit of a laggard here with the other two making strong upward movement, but some push from volume for a green candlestick, so that's really good to see. I'll expect price to probably follow on through there. Yesterday's session has given us a bullish signal for XRP from on-balance volume, a break above resistance, but there's a problem with this. It's a really weak signal. The resistance line that has been broken has quite a strong slope. It's only got 2, maybe you could count this a third test. So it doesn't have a lot of tests. It's somewhat long held, but it's too steeply sloped for a strong signal. So it's a very weak bullish signal. I wouldn't give it too much weight. ADX is still declining for XRP, telling us there's no clear trend. Reverting to a model of stochastics plus support and resistance, expect price to continue on higher to resistance and stochastics to reach overbought simultaneously, and then we'll see what ADX is doing. That's it from me today with your quick update for these guys, and I hope everyone had a lovely weekend.